Got it. Okay. I think we're live here. So welcome, everybody. My name is Geoff Strout. Welcome to another live stream by the Christian Comic Art Society. Tonight, I will be doing a live art demonstration. I am joined by my lovely assistant co-host, Shelly Mullock. She's going to ask me questions and stuff while I'm drawing, so it isn't just dead air while I'm drawing. And I am actually, so I actually asked people for suggestions. The idea was to try to come up with something fun that was holiday themed. And I got a ton of suggestions. Oh my gosh. So I'm trying to sort through them now. And didn't do a whole lot of prep work. So this is going to be out of my head. Normally, I will say for anybody who's out there who's learning or interested in doing art, it helps a ton to do even a little bit of research, get some reference. If you don't have reference, then it's just coming from inside of your head. And that's, it never is quite as good as having something in real life to reference. So I recommend not doing what I'm doing tonight, which is probably going to be mostly just pulling out of whatever I have stored up here. I hope that it's still fun, but all right, so hold on just a moment while I check here so I can.
Geoff is being modest, by the way. I know that, everything he's saying is true, but I'm sure it's still going to be wonderful.
I hope it turns out good. And so I would say, like, if for any artist out there, it is really worthwhile to study the real life so that when you're in a position like today, where you have to come out of things, pull things mostly from your mind, that you have something in there and you're familiar with the way things look, and that just comes from practice, right? So practice, draw all the time. So we'll see how much preparation I've been doing is paying off here. So all right.
So what kinds of suggestions did you get? I'm curious.
So I got a bunch. Okay, so I got suggested, like, let's see, I'm just going to run a list of a couple because there's so many. And so everyone who gave me suggestions that I'm not mentioning, sorry about that. I can't mention them all. Kevin suggested I do like some of the weird entourage that Santa Claus has in other cultures, including Krampus, which is like, Eric suggests I do a scruffy, but in a Christmas outfit, which would be fun. And I got a suggestion to do Batman Santa, which would be fun to do. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah. There are so many. Anyway, so I'm trying to decide what to do here.
Gosh, those are really good suggestions. I'm very curious about the entourage thing. Do we mean like a lot of different kinds of representations of sort of like the Saint Nicholas character? Or do we mean like him and the many characters that surround him, like elves and things like that?
I think no, I didn't get a chance to, he sent me a link because Kevin always has all of the links. So this one was probably had a wealth of information that I just didn't get a chance to look at. Okay, I'm going to start sharing my screen here.
Okay.
Not sure. All right. And we see the screen.
All right, let's see. I can see your screen. It looks great. 1 second.
All right, so I feel like just kind of, I might do a mashup. I think what I'm going to try to do is a scruffy Christmas scene. Maybe try to mix in Batman. We'll see. Got an hour.
You definitely need to mix in Batman if you can.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Right,
I feel like this is one of those scenarios based on what you just said, where, you know, some of the Scandinavian and other European representations like compass and stuff, you would probably need reference, right? Just to sort of get other references out of your head. So
yes, definitely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't have unfortunately, I don't have all of that in my head. So I will go for, I think what I'm trying to do is do a cross between the Scruffy, and if I have time, I'll try to throw Batman in.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's see what happens, everyone.
And just so you all know, I will be trying to keep my eye on the chat. And so feel free to ask questions and throw them out there. And I will try my best to stay on top of that for Geoff as we're going along and doing the drawing. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Oh, also, Shelly, can you type that into the comments? Like, hey, you know, send comments. There might be a point, we'll see, during this whole thing where I might actually be able to say, like, you know, throw out a suggestion and I might be able to incorporate it. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's not always easy to tell, but that might happen. All right, so I'm just gonna get going here. I usually draw in black, and when I'm using when I'm using Photoshop, I usually use just an inking brush. It's just pressure sensitive. And let's see.
Okay, so this is the part that's always like kind of exciting for me, because you're literally looking at a blank piece of paper. And I've done this a couple times with you now. And the funny part that's to me is I'm looking at a blank piece of paper and not knowing at all what could possibly happen on that piece of paper, even with like suggestions. And I find myself thinking, you are seeing things on that paper as an artist. You're like seeing the proportion, and you're seeing placement, and you're seeing images. And it's really fun to watch that just like sort of dump out of your head onto paper.
Yes, let's hope the dumping process works good today.
Yes. Oh, and Geoff, remember to save your work, please.
What? What? Oh, you hurt me. I just what? Oh my gosh.
What do you even mean?
What do you even mean? I don't even know what you're talking about.
For those of you that were not with us on the previous ones, there was one where Geoff's whole setup froze, and we had to end it, and he had to shut down his software and had to restore an older version of a pre-save because he hadn't been saving the whole time. So for those of you who are using electronic devices to do your artwork, save your work.
Yes. Save your work. This is been a public safety announcement.
Yes.
Spare yourself pain and misery, heartache.
Exactly.
Those are bad things. Save your work. Yeah. All right. I am lagging here, guys. I'm sorry, I'm getting late start here. My work is lagging on screen, which means I have too many things open, which is my bad.
Yet another reason why you would want to save your work.
Yeah, I'm trying to close down items that are not necessary, because not all these things are necessary, folks.
This is kind of fun. It's kind of like Pictionary. I'm sitting looking at what we do have so far and wondering where it's going to go. I see, it's like looking at a cloud. I can see multiple things happening there, but I doubt any of them are actually accurate to what you are planning to do.
All right. Yes. Show. I need to have some pictures here. Pictures, please.
To me right now, it looks like a bird playing the bongos with his eyes closed.
Is that what it looks like? Wow.
I mean, I could show you how, but let's just take my word for it.
I'll take your word for it. I believe you. The
bird is really into it. That's all I can tell you. He's really in the zone.
Okay. Okay. Let's try this again. Please work, computer.
Mm-hmm.
I have
While
that.
it's scrolling, why don't you tell people what kind of setup you're using?
So I use Photoshop. And so far I am just using the basic standard setup. I usually will use the brush tool for this. I mentioned earlier, just the one of the Kyle brushes, which is I think standard in Photoshop now, for my brushes. And I'm using a Cintiq, Wacom Cintiq, and this is the 16-inch one. It is super handy. I used to try to draw art on a computer screen before I got a tablet, and I finally just broke down and got a tablet when I was younger, and I was like, I must have, so I got one, and then it was like such night and day. It was ridiculous.
Really?
That was amazing. It's like, oh, the computer is now super useful. And so I recommend it to anyone who's trying to draw on the computer. I say like drawing with a mouse is like trying to draw with a bar of soap. It is doable, but it's not recommended.
Oh, I see what you're saying. That would be hard.
Yeah.
I've even just trying to sign a signature with the
Right.
The mouse is challenging. So we have someone in the comments, actually Jennifer Leaders is saying that they couldn't afford Photoshop, so they got Procreate for $9. And so, do you know Procreate, Geoff, at all?
Oh yeah, I have, and I've seen a lot of people do very nice work with it. So I have the luxury of having Photoshop, but it is expensive. I don't like the fact that it's a subscription. You could always roll back and get like the CS6 version. Like I recently accidentally opened up CS6, and which is the last one you didn't have to pay like a subscription fee for. And that one is still, I mean, surprisingly, it's got the features that I pretty much use. So Photoshop, you could get like an older version that maybe that could save money there. But if you're not, you don't have deep pockets to buy Photoshop, like that one is a really good alternative. And I see a lot of really pro artists using it. So I just don't know how to use it yet. It's a little different enough from what I'm familiar with that I haven't dug in and learned that interface. So
Sure.
very good. The work I see is great. You could also use used to be Manga Studio. It's Clip Studio now. Clip Studio is also a much more affordable option if you want to do comic books. And again, it's just like there's a learning curve for each of those, right? So I had to learn Photoshop. There's a learning curve in that. Now that I've done it, I'm hesitant to jump and try to learn another one. So I don't use them as much, only because it's a relearning process, and I have the luxury of having Photoshop. If I didn't, I would be with you. I'd be doing just what you're doing. So.
Oh. All right. Well, for those of you who are joining us, feel free to leave comments and ask questions in the chat section of the live video, and I'll try to make sure to pass those along as often as I can. So Tim says hi and says that he's looking forward to see what you create.
Thanks. I will do my best to make something interesting. Sorry, I have to. Oh, come on. It's doing that weird thing again. On you. Yeah, I don't want that.
Don't scroll, computer. Don't scroll. We're trying to do the art.
It's time for art, not scroll.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't say scroll live stream. Stream.
Yeah, that was last holiday.
True. I'm still stuck in the Halloween one. Oh, there's Scruffy's face. Hi, Scruffy. And just like that, you get a face.
So for those who haven't aren't familiar with this character, this is our friend Eric Jansen. He has a couple different stories, comic books that are star this character, the Scruffy. Oh, oopsie. And it's he's kind of like a fox character. I don't honestly. I asked him if he could tell me specifically what kind of creature he was, and Eric said something like, "It's sort of like a fox, kind of, maybe." So,
well, whatever he is, he's super cute, and I love his adventures. So
yeah. So
if you're ever at a convention that Christian Comic Arts is at, we have many different comic books represented from many different artists in our community, and even some things from just the broader spectrum of Christian art and comic book world. But you can definitely get Scruffy's books at our table, so feel free to come by if you can ever find us and see us.
okay. What kind of gift should he have?
Oh, that's a good question.
Anybody want to give me a suggestion?
Yeah.
You can influence my drawing.
Yes, you too can have an impact.
Yeah.
On this drawing tonight.
You can change the world. I mean, a tiny little bit of the world.
Of this.
I'm in the world. You're in the world. If you give me a suggestion, you just change the world. Boom.
I think you should have a toy train.
Toy train. Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it more interesting for you than like a candy cane.
Candy cane. Yeah, that's good. Who needs those stupid candy canes?
I actually just hung a bunch up in my office at work today.
Uh-oh, I closed my comments. I can't see the comments anymore.
Oh, it's okay. I'm on it.
You're on it? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help.
Thanks, silly.
Hey, no problem, Joffrey. All right. Oh, see, I love that you can do that. So you're basically just selecting what you've drawn, repositioning it, even enlarging it onto the page. So that's so cool to me, because when you draw it initially, you don't have to worry about that being it forever and ever and ever. You can actually move it around.
Yeah, that is a very, very handy thing.
Tim says a toy train made of candy canes. I feel like you're just repurposing my ideas, Tim. Smushing them together.
100% brand new. What are you talking about?
I love it. That was a fantastic suggestion. I'm trying to think what a fox might enjoy,
Well, so the scenario in my head is he's playing Santa. He's playing Santa. He's gonna give somebody else a cool gift. So that's what I'm going for here. So he's gonna
you want him to be generous and giving. I mean, yay. Yeah. I'm just kidding. That's great.
Let's see. So I'm gonna put him in front of a Christmas tree while branches here.
Nice.
Presents.
Speed with which you do that is quite impressive. It really does feel like you're sketching, even though, digital. Really interesting.
Yeah, I'm definitely sketching. I'm just.
Yeah. Is this, so do you do this mainly to like just create the ambiance or the proportions, or when you're sketching like this, are you just making layouts?
Yeah, I'm trying to get right now I'm doing the background. So I'm trying to get a sense of place for him, because at some point I'm going to have to flesh out more details for him, and it will help me to know kind of what's where he is. What's the environment?
Yeah, I just got a great idea.
What?
We should have a Christmas Batman toy.
Oh, oh, snap. It is on. Batman.
Batman. Na 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 na. Holiday Batman.
Oh, the Batman. Oh, snap. Yeah, that's the greatest thing ever. Come on. Come on now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've done this before. I'll just try to walk anybody who's kind of new to it. What I tend to do is I tend to draw my my lines, and then I lighten them up. And then I can draw on top of them. They sort of act as a guide. If you were doing this traditionally, you could do it, kind of do the same sort of thing with tracing paper or anything that's transparent. But it's just a luxury to do it fast when you're doing digital. And I can just keep working right on top of the last layer, with each layer getting a little bit more detailed, a little bit more solid. So at any one of these stages, I don't have to be super concerned about everything working. I can just work on like in phases, you know.
That's interesting too, because initially it was very small and it's like, how are you going to get in there and do a bunch of details? But I can see that you just basically blow it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And actually helps. I'm not doing a lot of it today, but if you were going to do, if I was doing this for, say, a professional piece of work, I do a thumbnail first, which is typically even smaller, and that's on purpose, because if as when you work smaller, the shapes you're forced to keep your shapes big, and if you get too precious with your shapes, they like you get too detailed, then you lose the shapes, and the shapes kind of have this nice flow of action. They give you a lot of real character to the drawing, that once drawings have been tightened up, often they lose that flowing quality, and they just they're not as much fun. So it's a good idea to start with a thumbnail and try to on purpose to keep from losing that. It's not always easy to avoid losing it. It's something that sort of happens accidentally, even when you're trying not to. So it really is sort of a challenge.
So one of the reasons that you put it on thumbnails is to make sure that you're really focusing on that action, so that you minimize the loss of it, basically, of the.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Sort of kind of force yourself to all right, here's a good question. Should I give Scruffy a gut? He's technically a thinner character, but should I let him, do I give him a Santa gut or not?
That's a great question. I would say go for it, but let's see if anybody chimes in. Oh, and Brooklyn was saying, is there going to be any pen on paper drawing tonight? Question mark, sort of smiley face. And I guess I could say this is a digital version of pen on paper drawing, still very similar, easy to show on a live stream. So yes, sort of.
Well, the answer, I don't plan to do any like paper pen and paper drawing tonight. But if I were, but I've been thinking about ways to do it. I need a setup. I need like a camera facing down and all that. So I do want to do some in the future.
Just
but
have to get
the
it.
answer is tonight, probably not tonight.
Okay.
But I do want to do that. That's
we do have one vote for no gut.
No gut. Oh, okay. Well, I just gave him a gut, but I can. You commentator, comment. Oh,
Yeah,
whoops.
Commenter.
You are changing the course of history.
Yes, you're changing. Whoa, my pillows are falling down on me. Totoro, stop attacking. All right, look at that. You just changed the face of the drawing. Gotta love that. Handled.
Handled.
Yeah, I definitely love watching actual pen on paper drawing. But yeah, I would imagine you have to get like a whole camera set up above from different angles and things.
That is, yeah, that's probably what I'd give you.
I see we're going for our Batman action figure here.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Trying to decide how do you make a Batman, recognizably Batman, and also a Christmas version.
You can put a hat on him too. You could.
I know, but then he's got his little ears thing. Boop.
I know. There you go. See? Sweet.
But he's always going to be not very happy.
No.
He's Batman.
He's Batman.
He's Batman.
I mean,
He's Batman.
he will tell you he's happy. Happy holidays.
Yeah.
I'm Batman.
This is his happy face.
I'm ecstatic.
He's ecstatic. Any other questions out there from the commentator land?
Tim wants to know, isn't Batman smelly at Christmas time?
You're right. He is smelly. I'm going to make him a little smelly. He's just going to be like a little bit of odor coming off of him right there. Good call, Tim. We need someone to take care of those, stay on top of those historical details so we get it accurate. You know.
Is that calling back to something? I'm actually unaware.
Oh, it's the song. Jingle bells. Batman,
Batman smells. Got it. Oh man, I was way slow on that one. Yeah. You should definitely put a robin with some eggs in the tree just to
oh my gosh. Totally. All right, I'm gonna try. Now, the meaning is so rich. It's just
I know.
Many layers, and oh man. Just coming.
I love that bag. It has that feel of like the ever expanding
yeah, right.
Santa bag.
Bag of holding. Santa's bag of holding.
Bag of holding, totally. That's the Santa started the bag of holding.
That's right. He's actually.
I'm gonna call it the Santa bag now.
Yeah, right.
All right. Very nice. So tell us, Geoff, how old were you when you started drawing?
I'm pretty young. My dad was an artist. So I'm one of 7 kids. So when I was younger, my dad worked at a print shop, and he would just bring home like literally like boxes of paper that had been printed on one side, but had a not printed on the other side. And us kids could just like, here, draw. And we just draw, just draw and throw it away, draw. So yeah, I started drawing. Me and all of my brothers and my sister, we all drew at least some when we were kids. So so I'm one of the out of the family, I'm one of those that really, really liked it and kept going. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. When did you know that you wanted to pursue it more professionally?
Oh, well, comics have always been my first love, really. So when I first ran into comics, they made a huge impression on me. And I remember thinking, I think that was when, the seed of when it was like, oh, I got to do this for a living. This would be the best. My dad was also an artist. He was a freelance artist when I was younger. So that was, formative, I'm sure, in terms of,
it can be done.
It's a possible vocation,
Yeah.
But I think comics were the real. I think I read like a Captain America story when I was younger, and that was one of my dad. We got him out of at the library, local library, and I just thought it was the best thing ever. And then shoot, what else did I read? There was I read some Smurf comics that were, those were pretty dang
Oh,
cool back in the day.
okay.
So, and then there's just, and this, after that, my dad also being an artist, had some comics as well. So I started reading the ones that he had. Oops. Oh, that's not gonna work. So yeah, so just my exposure, I guess, early exposure to comics made it a possibility to me. Like, oh man, that would be so cool. I mean, I think it's always been like like a lot of people, it just seems like the best job in the world when you're
Right.
young. Like, man, life would be perfect if I could
If I could
draw
just do this
comics.
for a living, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Tell us what, because so that was very intriguing to me. You just picked up those presents and literally moved them. Why'd you do that?
Well, you can see here his foot is right here. I had his foot, which is on the floor, and then I put where I put the presents,
Yeah.
made it the wrong plane. So then I have to move the presents or move his foot. And presents
Yep.
was easier.
Otherwise, his foot would be floating, right? Because it would feel like it was floating or he was stepping down.
Yeah, or it'd be floating, or it'd be in the, somehow magically in the floor, right? So either way, not a good look.
Tim says that he really he says it's a lot of fun to watch the scene develop as you refine the details. So encouragement.
Oh, cool.
Jeff.
Thanks, Tim. Nice. Okay, I just made a mistake, and I started drawing my background on my foreground. Whoops. Whoopsies. But this is Photoshop, and so we can do all kinds of things to fix that. So I'm going to do that.
Let me like, for those who don't know what you meant by that, let me take a stab at it. So there's layers on this piece of paper, and you have different layers. Your background is on a different layer than Fluffy is on right now. And you accidentally drew on the Fluffy layer, not the background layer. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And then did you just cut that out and make him on a new front layer?
I just cut out all the things that were part of the background that I accidentally drew on the foreground, and just undid them. Hey, it's going so fast.
Well, you didn't undo it, right? You just put it on a different layer. Is that?
Yeah, sorry, I just moved it down and made it into the background instead. So I don't. All right. So about halfway through. So I'm going to try to go through and do like a final pass on Scruffy at this point, because we're running out of time.
I know these hours go by quick when you're drawing.
Yeah. If somebody out there could like pause, slow down time, I would totally appreciate that.
Yeah, we could do so much more.
I could do so much more. It's a very practical suggestion, you guys.
Well, one of my favorite parts is always watching color come on. So I will always look forward to that part of it where you start just throwing color and paints all over the place. And suddenly it looks real. It's pretty amazing to see.
I hope we can get to that. Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yes. The way things are going, I keep
step right now, right?
Yeah, I'm in the step before color. I gotta make it through. Ooh, that's looking very ratty. Come on.
Really?
Gotta make it look nice.
It just looks fluffy.
Fluffy.
It's so fluffy.
It's so fluffy. She doesn't want to die. This is the other thing I love. I mean, there were some artists, comic book artists in the past, that would do stuff like this, where basically they would draw reverse white on black and get some really cool line effects. And I remember thinking, oh, that's so cool. They had to do it with like white paint. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Digitally, you can just throw it on there. But I should call myself on this. Don't do this at home, everyone, because this is actually taking way too much time. So I'm just going to stop doing that, and I'm going to just jump on to the,
so you're solidifying your lines now, right? That's like what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm just basically finalizing my line choices, like I kind of made them already, but I'm making them for reals,
Sure.
making them stick.
Now, I've one of the things that someone who doesn't draw much may not know, and that I had to learn, because I liked to draw when I was younger, but I didn't pursue it and didn't develop those skills. But I was at a theme park recently where they they let people come in, and they have one of their animators draw a character and show you how to draw one of the characters. And like, one of the things that they always say, because I've done it many times, one of the things that they always say is like, don't draw the hard line first. Like, make lots of light lines and light circles, and because later you can just decide which of those light lines you want to put down. And it looks like that's very much what you're doing right here. But I just thought I would mention that, because it had never occurred to me that I could draw lightly and then pick things later to go with.
Yeah, I think I've shared this last time too as well, but when I was younger, I would look at finished artwork and think, oh man, that's so cool. I want to be able to do artwork like that. But then when I would, I tried to do it all like just in one pass, and I didn't realize, at that stage that most artists work in various stages. They work in what they put in what, the sketch, the thumbnail stage, and they would draw. There's a process called, or a piece of the process that's called drawing through, where you draw the big shapes, and you don't you draw them on top of each other. You don't, which is not the way it looks in real life. Sure. But then you go back in and you so you draw all the big shapes overlapping, and then you remove the overlap areas on your final pass. And when I was younger, I didn't realize there was multiple passes involved. I thought you had to do it all the first time, and it's very intimidating to try to do everything right first go.
To try to do it perfectly on your first go. Yeah, it's very.
Yeah, it's very. I don't think it's realistic, right?
Yeah.
Should we give Scruffy like a fake beard, or should we just let him be Scruffy? I'm just gonna let him be Scruffy. I don't think he'll be.
Yeah, let him be Scruffy. I like seeing him as him. This is fun. Little scruffy nose. Yeah. One of the things that you were just saying that again I thought was really interesting is how most figures or objects really are just a combination of simple shapes, and if you can layer those shapes on top of each other in the appropriate way, it helps to create that person or that item. That's again something that I wouldn't know. You wouldn't know right off the bat, but it does help. I've known you long enough, Geoff, to start to see things that way and to try to get those down and in the right proportion before even trying to draw the thing I want to draw. But goodness, like, I still don't know the first thing about that. I know what I should be doing, but I don't know exactly how to do it. So it definitely takes practice, I think.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of those experiences that helps to break everything down. It's my dad when I was younger. I think he I was wanting to learn how to draw better, and I asked him for an art lesson, and one of the only like formal art lessons he ever gave me was to like say, okay, here's a basic shape. You can take every complicated shape in nature and break it down into basic shapes that are like mushed together or sort of overlaying, or like, and so if you like the human head is sort of like a like a sphere sort of shape, and then there's like a front, like a wedge here in the front where the chin is. Then if you break it down into something simple in your head, you can turn it around in your head and reliably draw it, represent it without a whole lot of being able to, you don't have to remember all the details. You can put those on after you do basic stuff. So that's a huge help. I think it's very helpful to keep that in mind.
Yeah, that makes sense for proportion and angle and everything.
Yeah, I think it really makes, I think that what for me seems to be the case is it's easy to get overwhelmed by drawing. And when you're trying to learn, it's like, oh my gosh, there's so many things to try to keep in your head at the same time. And so I think what new artists think is you have to do it all at once. And I think it's helpful to realize, like, no, you don't have to do it all at once. There's no rule that says you have to do that. You can do it in as many stages as you want. Take your time.
That's
So
great. There's a great comment from Brooklyn who says, it's amazing how defining the eyes of the character gives him a soul.
Yeah, right. I love that.
Yeah, me too. There's something about the eyes and that brings life to the expression, which in turn brings life to the person or being that you're drawing. Kind of amazing. Like even just looking at Scruffy right now, like he just looks really happy and giving and benevolent. He just has this like really gentle smile and it's like beautiful. I love it.
So speaking of eyes, we just watched the new Netflix show called Arcane. And I do not have any affiliation with that show. I haven't even watched all of it, so I can't vouch for where it's going. It may go places where who knows.
Story-wise and all that, yeah.
But I will just remark on the visuals, particularly the eyes, the way they've animated the eyes. It's just, oh man, and just the kind of character they get in there. I'm very impressed by that.
Yeah, I'm reflecting on that too. I'm thinking of the little sister and like some of the things that they do with her eyes. That, yeah, you're right. They're not even moving much, but you can see their emotions changing.
Yeah, it's very expressive. Full marks for animation and design on that one. Story, I don't know. We'll wait and see.
We'll see.
I always like I've recommended things to people without watching them before, and it bit me in the butt. So I'm not gonna do that anymore.
You're like disclaimer.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the art and the visuals.
Yeah, right. So limited knowledge, but I like to say like story is like a story for a show or something, or a book is like a sentence. Until you're finished, you don't know what they're trying to say, right? So you gotta let them finish the sentence.
Yeah.
So we're not done.
It's all set up until the reveal, right?
Yeah, you gotta kind of wait till they're done saying what they're trying to say, and then you can kind of
make a judgment.
Then you can make your evaluations based on it.
Sure. Yeah. See, it's amazing to me. You're just adding a little bit and adding a little bit, and then all of a sudden it just sort of like is the thing. It pops out, like now this is Scruffy. It's so great. I'll bring this up just because I'm seeing the way that you are drawing and making thicker lines in some places and thinner lines in other places. And I think that's one of those things that you're just doing because you're so well practiced at it. You just do it. But through conversation mainly with you and with others, I've realized how important line work is in really just making something just how it's portrayed. I know one of the times where that came up recently in conversation with you, Geoff, was for there's a new one on was it Netflix, the Demon Slayer one?
Kimetsu no Yaiba, I think. Yes.
Yeah.
Man,
so that line work. The line work was just really interesting, and I was trying to. It was interesting because watching with Geoff, I was trying to figure out like why does this feel so different? Like it's moving sometimes in a way that there's like a movement that's really interesting. It's like feels very cross between digital and art. Like not that digital isn't art, but like that sort of 3D movement that digital can give you versus like static artwork. And as I was trying to sort of voice my question about that, Geoff was like, oh, well, look at the line work, and pointed out just how the heavy lines just give you that very interesting stylized look of the characters. So yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely like technology's doing amazing things, making amazing things possible now. Just it's like there are things that people are doing now that you couldn't manage to do in the past, like take the line weight and really make the line weight expressive in the way that you could with like a brush pen in real life. And so just seeing that they were able to pull something off like that in animation, it's so cool. It's like, it's so neat.
What is it about the line work that makes it like appeal in that way? You know, like what do heavy versus light lines do for us?
Well, it's like, I think there's a variety of things. If you're drawing, just like any part of the drawing, you watch your line weight and you try to use it for a variety of things. And so each choice you're making has like potentially multiple impacts. Like one of them is let's see, what you call it, primacy, or what do you want to be the first read? What do you want the audience to pay more attention to versus less attention to? So if you want someone to see, like, contrast is a principle that keeps coming back again and again if you're doing art. So if you want someone to pay attention to something, you put something that contrasts it right next to each other, right? So you have black and white, you put them next to each other, then that's someone's eye will go there. So you can do that, thick and thin next to each other, or contrasts next to each other. So you can bring interest there. You can draw someone's eye. So composition is, at the end of the day, you're doing a lot of what you're doing is to move the audience's eye around the image. So that's one of the major reasons why you would use line weight. But it's also not, it's also variation, right? So if a computer was drawing lines, it would just be the same everywhere. And so when you do line work like that, it actually starts to it adds character and personality to the work, makes it feel more alive. And so you got to use it wisely. One of the things like I'm doing right now is if you want something, you also can use it for hierarchy in terms of what's next to you, what's farther away, right? So we all kind of know instinctually things that are closer to us are bigger, things that are farther away are smaller. So if I want something to read like it's right next to you, or at least closer than something else, then the line I use to outline it can be thicker. So, and that's, so like I gave it a really thick line on this bag. Why? Because it's in front of everything else.
Because it's closer to us. Okay. See, I didn't know that. I learned something new all the time.
Yeah. And you can even do that. I mean, that is a principle that doesn't stop with like big things. If you want something, like say his arm here, I want his arm to be in front of the rest of him. And I can just subtly make that just a little bit heavier, thicker line weight.
Yeah.
And it reads like it's in front. Yeah.
It kind of just pops out at you a little bit more.
Yeah. It's very subtle, but it matters. I mean, in the whole, like visuals, you read them, typically you read a visual in a very short amount of time. You just glance at it and you've seen it. So it's not, these sort of changes are things that like, they matter, but they happen really fast. The effect is, like right away. Either it works or it doesn't work.
Absolutely. I want to make a suggestion because I really like this picture again, and I think it might be somewhat unrealistic to try to get a whole thing done in one sitting. But we've got like 10 minutes, and I'm thinking it would be cool down the line if we could do a second version of this where you come over and and do the rest of it. What do you think?
We are almost out of time. Shoot. I kind of want to, I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe that'll be worth a go.
Okay. All right. Just a suggestion. Just don't want you to feel pressured to finish it like this minute, you know?
Yeah.
There's always going to be opportunities to do this again. Maybe, hopefully before the holidays are over. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of out of time.
I know. Then I'll be like, hey.
A little less relevant to the moment.
Be like, sad.
There's Batman. I finally see Batman. Awesome. I could kind of see it before, but I think his eyes and mouth that you just did, that really Batmaned it out.
Yeah, you need it.
I'll say that is an adjective now. Batman.
Batmaning something.
Yes.
That has been very Batmaned.
Yes. The other day I was Batman. It was very disturbing.
Have you been Batmaned yet?
Does that mean I carry lots of like utility things in my belt? Because
yeah, I like that.
A possible definition.
So somebody, people are like, "Whoa, you have a lot of things in your belt." That's because I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
All right.
That looks great.
Any other questions in the comments?
Not section? At the moment. No. Yeah.
All right.
People are just enjoying the process.
Sweet.
Yeah. See, Scruffy looks great. I love this. That's fun. When we're done, you should give it to Eric Jensen and say, now write a comic.
Right. Yeah, he probably would.
Around this scene. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I could imagine him doing that for sure.
I absolutely could too.
Yikes. All right. Shoot. 7 more minutes.
7 minutes.
Oh,
okay.
Keep going.
You got this. Scruffy, you're sliding.
Sliding.
I'm just kidding because he's tipping.
Like, what's going on?
You're like, what? Where? How? Is it just an easier angle to draw at like this sometimes?
Yeah, it's actually very important. Sometimes if you want to get the strokes to look right, you need to tilt the page just to get, because your arm doesn't do certain movements are just unnatural and they end up with some weird wonky motions to the line.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so
cool. I mean, to be honest, I'm impressed that you got Scruffy and Batman and the bag of tricks all like laid down before the hour was up. Like that's nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, we're doing okay. I'm kind of bummed that we didn't, hit all the things, but I'm going to try just to do a little bit of background work just because.
Okay. All right. Got some praise in the comments. Awesome work.
Guys, oops.
So what are you planning to do for oh, I see. You're just going to go into that layer and.
Yeah, just gonna.
Kind of do what you were doing for Scruffy.
Yeah.
I see.
That's a little bit bigger.
So it's interesting, when you started drawing the tree, I was like, oh man, that is so much wider and more like wild looking than I would ever think to draw for a Christmas tree, because we think like triangle, or half triangle, half triangle, half triangle.
Yeah.
But that looks like an actual tree, like I'm like, oh yeah, that makes more sense. Trees are full and lush and, they have branches and needles. And so it's cool.
Yeah. It's I'm trying to give it enough shape that it feels like it's a.
Yeah. You're just you're so generous with the, with the look of it. No, like I wouldn't think to do that, but I like it. It gives it character too. Excellent.
Wow.
Whoopsies.
Whoopsies. So that was when I get ahead of myself.
And inked up. Mic drop, inked up.
Yeah, that's when I start drawing too quickly, and it's like,
Is that what happens? Is that it thinks you're trying to put down more ink than you are?
Yeah, it gets behind. Like my processor for my computer is only so good, and so if I overtax it, it gets behind, and then it starts to like make guesses, I think.
Okay.
like input.
Like you want to dump ink here?
Yeah. It's like I put input like, oh, this line, this line, this line, I say 10 lines, but it only gets the registers, the values I did for maybe like 6 of them. And so it sort of puts lines, connects the different line commands I do. And so then you get these big blots. It's like, no, that's not what I didn't say that.
Not what I asked for.
Not what I drew, but got to be nice to your equipment.
Yeah.
It's not perfect. Can't do miracles.
I like it. It just looks so full and fluffy, that tree. I like it.
Fluffy.
Scruffy and the fluffy tree.
Yeah.
And Batman.
I'm Batman. And Batman. All right, let's see.
Oh, okay. New angle.
Yeah, it really helps. I realized I was twisting myself in order to try to get the image, and it's better to smooth the paper.
And we had just talked about that, so it's fresh in your memory.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll probably try to do another pass on this, guys. Since we're basically out of time here. You are very welcome to tune in when we do that. What I'll probably end up doing is maybe add a couple more details, but mostly that'll be the coloring phase. This is not. I don't like that at all. That's not good.
Oh, are you talking about the lines you just put down?
Sorry, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just don't like the way they're turning out. They're just yeah. They're just not right.
It's okay to go back and change stuff, folks.
Yeah.
If you don't like it and you're working digitally, guess what? You can redo it. We've talked before about how, like, in other mediums, it's not as easy to cover up what you put down, right? But
yeah. Now, I think that's one of the reasons why we were talking about oil painting earlier as well. Like, there's oil paintings. I think the reason why oil paints are so widely used, even though they're kind of a bear to clean up, and you're gonna have to have the studio and stuff. The reason why is because they dry so slow. You can literally undo stuff.
oh, interesting.
John Singer Sargent, there's a really famous, very, very amazing illustrator or painter, and he's John Singer Sargent, and his stuff looks like he painted it in like 15 minutes, but it's brilliant.
Oh wow.
And the reason why is because he would paint things quickly, but if it didn't look brilliant, he would just scrape it off and do it again.
Do it again, right there. Wow.
Scrape it off and he'd do it again. And
it's
so
like sketching with paint.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So his work they're all paintings, but they have the feel, they have a flavor of sketches, because they are so loose, and they're clearly done, at a quick pace, but they're beautiful. So yeah, take your time where you need to take your time, and then go back and fix things.
What was the name of that artist?
His name is John Singer Sargent. He's a famous, classical illustrator, or not illustrator, artist or painter.
Got it. I'm gonna put the John Singer Sargent web URL, it's a .org, into the chat in case anyone wants to go see what Geoff is talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go, folks. Put it in there.
So this is an interesting example, I guess, of like me spending too much time on the interior details. Because honestly, I'm spending too much time on this, and it's not quite, I could do this and it would kind of look cool, but in my judgment here, there's too much detail for the purpose of the tree in this image. The tree's just there to look like a tree in the background, right?
So kind of like with the line art, you feel like you're drawing too much attention to it.
Yeah, the more detail. So detail is another thing that will draw your attention, right? If it's simple and there's detail in an area, your eye goes there.
Yep. So, yeah, I can see that.
So if you're trying to control where the person's eye goes, so the audience's eyes go, you want to be mindful of where you put your detail is where you want people to look. So in my, estimation at this point in the drawing, there's too much detail back here in the tree. And, sometimes you have to do it before you realize, oh, whoopsie, don't do it that way. So I'm going to try to simplify some of this. And honestly, like it's in the background. I'm going to put color on here. So I can get away with doing a very simple tree indication here. And so I'm just going to try to take
so in order to lighten up those lines, you're actually going back with white and sort of putting white lines over them.
Yeah, you can get an interesting, nice effect that way. Also, you can make it look really messy. So it's sort of a mixed bag. I got to be careful with how I'm doing that. But
gotcha. Yeah.
I'm trying to kind of approximate what I got on the other side, and I'm not quite hitting it. So
I think you're as with many things, probably most critical of your own work, right? Because I probably wouldn't even notice. Although I do see what you mean about the dark lines drawing attention. Like I could see that's true. Like I find my eyes going to the darker side parts of the tree. So that does make sense what you're saying in regards to that. So
yeah. So I got to be. Yeah.
In a sense, though, it also kind of outlines Scruffy. So because all those lines are around him, I'll look at them, but I also find myself focusing in on Scruffy as well. They're sort of framing him in a way.
Yeah, so this is my intention is to put decorations on the tree and stuff, which is like, that was my.
Oh, I see. So you need that space.
So I don't really even need to have all of the details of the tree indicated, because I'm going to put some other stuff in there as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I got to make choices. So I do want to emphasize for anyone listening that if you are working on a piece like this, that everything is a series of choices, right? You're trying to choose the thing that accomplishes the goal that you're after, right? So if I'm doing something and, it could be good. I think the amateur, the person who's just starting is just happy that they did something that looks okay. It's like, it looks right. Yay. I drew a hand or a face or whatever. And after a certain point, when you start to, realize the goal of being able to do a hand that looks like a hand on a regular basis, then you have to choose then you start making more choices about, okay, what is that the right hand for this image? Is that a good fit for what I'm trying to accomplish? Sometimes it's not. And so it's good to not be too precious about the stuff you do, right? You realize, oh, okay, that one's, I tried, it didn't work. I'll try again.
Make the choice, you get the win or make the mistake. You're going to learn either way, right?
Yeah. And I think that's really good to, give yourself, I think you're going to have a better work in the end if you give yourself permission to make mistakes and then also recognize them and then go back and fix them or throw them out and do them a different way. So, because not everything's going to be, I think that what I really like is hearing artists talk about their process, because I think it's not very long before you realize like everybody's, making mistakes and like trying this and oop, that didn't work. And let me go back and I'll try it again, so that to me is good for the soul, good for the artist's soul to realize like, hey, wait a minute. This isn't it's not usually a one-time performance art, where you have to get all the things done on the same in one go. It's those are few and far between. Oh, we're over by 7 minutes.
Yes, we are. I was just gonna let you know, but
all right, everybody who's holding us to our timetable, we will let you go. You guys have lots of fun. And I will say that like I'm gonna just indicate a couple more things here, because I will include the thumbnail on the video. So I just wanted to have something that's at least indicating what the goal is. But essentially I'm going to stop here. I'll come back and plan to do a color pass on this, and then we can see the full version at some point.
That'd be great. And we do have a comment from Tim that says, thank you for sharing your gift of drawing.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thanks for joining us and joining the conversation. It's fun to have your participation, and it's way more fun than just talking to myself. Me and Shelley just talking.
Yes, I was just going to say the same thing. We enjoy talking to each other, and we really also enjoy when you contribute and give us your feedback and tell us, give direction or questions. So never be shy to do that. We really love it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Look at that. Okay. Wow. It really is Scruffy and Batman. I mean, you did do both in the time.
I got somewhat close in there.
I mean, they're both in the picture, are they not? I'm just saying.
Yeah. I really want to do Robin laying an egg, though. I mean, come on.
Yes, definitely. Yes. There should be a robin and an egg somewhere.
Robins and eggs will happen. Okay.
You should totally have a Batmobile with a wheel lying on the side.
Yes. Brilliant ideas coming out of the
I know.
small size. It's going to be good. All right. We got anybody else still out there? Did we scare everyone away?
No. Tim just laughed at our Batmobile lost its wheel comment. We still have some people, so
that's hilarious.
Yeah. Material straight from culture music.
Yeah, that's right. From the wisdom of the age.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I love the staircase coming down. That's fun.
Boop, 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 boop. So if I was doing this, a little bit, I would take a little bit more time with the lines here. You can do I could take my time with digitally and add more straights in here. Like I'm just freehanding straights, and freehanded straights. Hey now.
Whoa.
Whoa there. Freehanded straights don't you can see them come out here right now. They're not straight. They're just sort of kind of straight.
They're cool though. I mean, like it again adds character, I think.
Yeah, if and it's a big if you can get away with it and make it look decent, it does have some flavor to it.
It has a style to it, right? Yeah.
Like I one of my favorite artists, Masamune Shiro, he I think I mentioned him before. He's really good brushwork. He's just genius. And then he got found they technology improved, and he realized he could do 3D in his books. So he would do this amazing tech work in his book, and it just looks so beautiful.
Wow.
And then he realized he could make them 3D models, and he put 3D models in his book, and it's still cool, but it doesn't have the flavor that it just the personality that his line work and stuff had. It's just I didn't even appreciate it until he did it differently, and then I was like, oh, it's not the same. Like,
yeah,
isn't
that interesting how you only notice something afterwards sometimes? Yeah,
it's interesting to me that I wouldn't, if you'd asked me whether it would be different, I would have been like, well, it's still his design, so it'd probably look the same. But really it isn't.
You have something to compare and contrast it to, right? So like,
yeah. Okay. There's a thing you can do in, there we go.
Yeah, and Tim, I could also watch this for hours. I actually a few people have said to me after these videos post how it's just very calming to watch the drawing come to life, and I agree 100%. It's very fun to sort of see it emerging. Great.
I'm gonna do, oh, oops, that was the wrong call. I'm gonna do real quick. I'm gonna get rid of my grays here.
Okay.
Sorry.
So all the stuff that was underneath all of the lines that you laid down.
Yeah, I'm removing all the prior work that is present in the form of gray. Yeah, do that one up here too. Just go straight to black and white.
Okay, see, it just cleans everything up. What sketch lines? We don't know what you're talking about. He never sketched anything. He just did this at his first try. No, we had very long conversations about that.
Yeah, hey, wait a minute. Didn't you just say?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I'm going to do this. Oopsies.
Whoa.
Sorry, there's a process I can run that will just give me the, it's an action, Photoshop action that I'm using here. And it's, you can't tell the difference, but what it did is it actually made all the white areas transparent. So if I were to come in and put a color in the background, I'll just demonstrate that. Like you can actually see through.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But if not, that's for a later time. Boop.
That's just a teaser for next time, folks.
That's a teaser.
Round 2.
All right. All right, everybody, that is our holiday art demonstration. I hope you enjoyed it. If you are interested at all, I do plan to come back and do a slight, color pass on this to make it look as, try to finish it off.
My favorite part. Although I have to say it's kind of not true. I love watching the art emerge too. I just really like color,
Yeah,
but...
I know you just he likes color, folks. Okay, so all right, so that's where I'm going to stop today. If you guys have any questions, you can write them in the comments. I will probably come back and check and see what people have written. You can also find us at christiancomicarts.com, and you can we are on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook video. So all of these, you'll find this up on all of those places, and you can comment in any of them if you want. So anyway, that's it for
thank you so much,
today.
everybody who participated and watched, and everyone who watches later too. We appreciate you watching.
Yes, thank you so much, everybody. All right, well, you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. I'll talk to you later.